Hello, welcome to Orissapost Live. On the occasion of World Health Day, today we are at Manam Foundation in talks with Dr. Soumya, who is the Chief Counselor of this foundation. Let's get to know what she has to say when it comes to mental health on this Health Day. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Elena.
Ma'am, on the occasion of World Health Day, enlighten us a little bit more about how health, like overall health, is related to our mental health.
Okay, sure. So this is a bright opportunity, Elena, where I get this place to share the ideas. As WHO says, there is no health without mental health. So this perspective in Odisha was not there. So 5 years back, my journey started with Manam Foundation, where Dr. Mohapatra, the founder, thought that mental health is a really neglected area and we really need to work on it, because it is one health where the issues are invisible but the consequences are visible. And that's where we begin with the focus of mental health. Mental health affects every aspect of social life, physical health, interpersonal relationships, who you are, how you are, in whatever age you are. You have a mind, you have a heart, which means you have issues, and it's always good to be aware about issues. So Elena, this is a real challenge. It will be good to understand how people really feel that any kind of issue that they face, whether it is an anxiety, they are feeling low for some amount of time and they are not able to eat or sleep properly. If the diagnosis becomes depression, someone visiting the psychiatric ward, someone visiting a clinical psychologist and counseling psychologist is pertinent to be, are you not okay? Are you abnormal? Is there an issue? Is it like you have lost your mind? So people are extremely hesitant to even bring up these issues. So referral becomes difficult, just as diagnosis becomes difficult. So people take a lot of time to get to the realization that anxiety as an issue which is troubling us can be actually dealt if we talk to a doctor and a therapist. They can actually bring about a lot of awareness, and prevention is always better than cure. See, Anita, it's just like, when we have, as I like to connect this to the previous question as well. So when we have a fever, or when we have scar on the hand, or we have something on the body, we definitely immediately go to the doctor. Thoda heartbeat बढ़ जाता है, तो I'll always feel that let me go to check my BP, my sugar. We are very pro at it. Though Odisha, again, in general mental health also lagged behind. We were very apprehensive about any kind of testing. Now, mental health issues are not visible, but if a person is suffering, the family members can definitely acknowledge. Like if a child is having issues in attention deficit in class, or is very hyperactive, is not able to remember things, then parents are the first to identify. Similarly, if a college student is not feeling like talking to anybody else, the peer group, the hostel mates will definitely know that something is not okay. For a state like Odisha, we are not okay if things are not okay. But our foundation, Manam Foundation, is based on the fact that it's okay to be not okay. Let us accept that we face difficulties in our emotional health. Shall we come together in a safe environment where our sharing is confidential, doctors are professional, every work ethic is being maintained, and people find a safe environment to share that why am I feeling so anxious that I'm not able to write a line in my paper? Or why am I feeling so low that I can't sleep, I can't eat, I have lost my appetite and I incessantly cry? Why is it that I have a compulsive urge to always, swipe my phone and keep on looking at Instagram? Or why is it that if anything is not right in my health, I'm so compulsively, engrossed in it that I forget to do my routine? So all this can be diagnosed as, neurotic or psychotic, having anxiety or depression, and accordingly, earlier the diagnosis, better is the prevention. So Elena, you hold the greater power to help, because I think that the platforms that you people are bringing forward to bring mental health into awareness is the foremost thing that is giving a huge leap for people to acknowledge. Yesterday, Odisha government brought about a 24 hours helpline, suicide helpline. You will be aware that in Odisha, the number of suicides have increased manifolds post COVID. In fact, addiction to gadget has increased in Odisha in the past few months radically. So how we can is, first, let us as a community and as a state acknowledge that mental health acknowledgement is not an exaggeration, it's not a romanticized idea, and it is also not a stigma. The moment peer group, faculties, parents, neighborhood, environment starts feeling empathetic for a person who is having any kind of a issue, that is when they can actually direct the person to a mental health professional. You have hospitals, clinics, you have therapists, psychologists who can help you here. So in fact, after COVID, before COVID, there was no such thing, Elena, to be very honest with you. We have counselors, school counselors in all the schools. And in fact, many of the private colleges do have psychologists or counselors. But whether students go and access it, whether the school is taking initiative beyond the counseling program by calling mental health professionals and giving a platform to students to be open about their concerns. So I'll be very fair with you that from after COVID, many of the private institutions have definitely called us to have sessions. In fact, we had sessions with schools like BJEM, FBS, we had classes with ODM where they started saying that, meet our students before boards, and especially after coming back to school post pandemic. So we have done, resilience building classes with the students.
Surely, ma'am.
Okay, so I think many people feel that they can help themselves, which is actually true and fantastic. But when to know to charge your phone is very important. You can still say my phone is at 2%, I'll make 20 calls out of it. But maybe 2% is not enough and you can just cut off there. So it's important to acknowledge that, okay, at this point of time, I am not able to help myself, or my friends are not able to help myself. And then foremost beginning, if they can see that their health is affecting their work, their studies, they need to take the first step to destigmatize, and mental health is gradually destigmatizing. So this is a very interesting question, because in fact few days earlier a case came where a child is having obsessive compulsive thoughts and the parents feel that it is very natural, nothing to worry about, till the child reached to a point where she started having panic attacks and she couldn't go to school, and then it came to a halt where the parents referred to a doctor, a general physician told a psychiatrist referred to us. And then they're apprehensive that if we start taking medicines, it's for a long time, we'll get dependent. How does talking therapy really work? Not necessary. And most importantly, people feel a psychologist will just say something beautiful, jo hum nahi samjha sake, someone else will do. So why take it seriously? So the solution to this is, especially for every generation, to have patience and communication building with your parents, with people who are your support system. Tell them openly that there are certain things which you are struggling with. Tell them that when my fever is there, you check a temperature through a thermometer. So if I'm feeling something emotionally, please take me to a person where I can connect. And that does not mean that I don't trust you or I don't love you. Maybe I've reached a point where I'm not able to share a lot of things which I feel I'm not comfortable sharing. And that's where the trust begins. Let's take baby steps. So each one of us has certain issues. Normal and abnormal are words that we have coined because we do not know where is the boundary between normal and abnormal. If someone loses anger in general, it's fine, anger is normal. When someone would murder a person in anger, then it becomes abnormal because the person was not able to control anger. So now, for us, it is important to address whether we being termed normal, abnormal is important, or we being in the zone of accepting ourselves and taking a treatment is important. On the second hand, let us all assume that we all at some point of time do lose our mind and we don't tag ourselves to be abnormal. So let us be more friendly with people who are struggling with some kind of a crisis in emotions or in mindset. I think a larger empathy for all of us and understanding of fellow feeling will go a long way, and the stigma will slowly be out. I think, a few years back, stress was supposed to be taught a word which is actually not there. If you talk about my grandfather, he would say, what is stress? It's part of life. But I believe our parents use the word stress a lot. So now let's accept that psychosomatic stress is visible on the body. For example, if you are having constant headaches, migraine issues, stomach problems, no reason. So it's called, medically unexplained physical symptoms. Then it's time that probably you need to meet a professional to understand that is some stress leading to any kind of a mental health issue. Apart from any good stress, bad stress can impact your health. So when your question is that if this is a stigma and this is how we deal with it or how we go forward with this, I think we can start acknowledging it, that the psychosomatic stress levels are visible on the body, and instead of shying away, let us feel more comfortable that what could be my better potential after I go through a treatment process. And you have already taken the first step by acknowledging mental health as a very important part of Health Day observation. Many platforms like yours and youth like you are going to become a mirror, a changing aspect in the community, where you say that we are okay to be not okay and take help and be fine. So yeah, if you can identify the symptoms earlier, like starting from appetite to sleep to any kind of physical pain, or if it is at a mental level where you are frequently forgetting things, you are not able to have a cognitive identification of certain things, you are skipping your schedule, you are procrastinating a lot, you're feeling lazy unnecessarily, you're not able to get up, you don't feel to socialize, you are reclusive. This is the time that you can start actually talking with a close friend with who you feel very trust worthy, and you can share that I don't know why am I feeling this. Sometimes, most of the times I would say, mental and emotional health concerns remain very deep seated. It can be a long lasting trauma that just comes up when you feel extremely depressed about a present situation. For example, during COVID, many people got a lot of time, and when physical symptoms started coming, they actually could connect that it was related to a long standing trauma of the childhood which they were just not able to get over. So in that case, a post traumatic stress syndrome is identified, and we could do therapy and counseling to help the person to come out of a long standing trauma. So yeah, identification of the stressors can always lead to early diagnosis, and counseling can help. So I'll say that sometimes the present situations do trigger things of the past. Like for example, someone could see a movie and remember something that had happened with the person. The COVID really triggered a lot of things because people were locked up in a room, families were together, and we are used to most of the times covering up mental health under the carpet. Okay, so it was something not right. Okay, let's cover it up. That's not important. Let's do business. Let's do studies. So when you didn't do anything and you were inside a cold closed room, I think all the dark shadows came up. Similarly, that was one example of the trigger. Shadows just come up. Second could be, extreme loneliness, or now a breakup happens and then that triggers you that how as growing up you have always felt abandoned. So then the abandonment issue can come up. People feel separation anxiety with parents sometimes, like hosteliers staying in hostel, they feel that they're separated from parents. So when there is a bullying or a ragging, it can just lead to an extreme step of suicide. So triggers are, yes, there. Of course, Elena. The first step is acknowledging more of the viewers to know that these are the platforms where you get such nice platforms to discuss about mental health. So thank you for giving mental health an importance, where in a generation we are shying away from it and it's still a stigma. And at Manam, we are really fighting a lot that people accept themselves as who they are. So here goes the first step. accept yourself as who you are with all your strengths and weaknesses, and also accept your family and community at large. Second, basic things which can help you to have always a good mental health is physical exercise. Exercising on a regular basis, releases the good dopamine in the body. Second is taking out some time for your own relaxation with any form, whether it is music or dance. Third, having a support system with who you feel very comfortable to share. And fourth, always being open to the idea of visiting a mental health professional if you feel that you are not able to discuss, talk and trust. Please take care of yourself first by believing in yourself.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for an enlightening discussion. Now we would request our audience to say with us that being not okay is also okay. Let's just help bring some empathy and love out of us. Thank you.